HFS analyst Melissa O'Brien discusses the importance of the Top 10 Customer Engagement Operations Report.
Hi, good morning. This is Melissa O'Brien with HFS Research. We are an independent market research firm. Our mission is to look at the evolving landscape of business operations. So various markets that we follow, we look into basically the major innovations that are impacting business operations today. We look at customer engagement operations as the market that kind of evolved out of the contact center. And the reason why we're calling it customer engagement is because it's so much more than the transactional services and transactional interactions that we're so used to from the market. It's important to distinguish what's happening here because it's really, really important. Suddenly the contact center is back in vogue, and it's more about engagement. It's about creating experiences, and there's so much data and there's so much insight that can come out of conversations, whether they're chats or traditional telephone interactions. It's really becoming a hub of engagement. And I think we see this changing in terms of the way that companies are looking at measuring their interactions with their customers. You know, it's not just about average handle time anymore. We're not just trying to get folks off the phone as quickly as possible. We're trying to use these as opportunities to build relationships with customers. We launched the Top 10 in August of last year, and this is a pretty big shift for the industry that we're in market research, because it's really often crowded with a lot of these grid type assessments. And what we were trying to accomplish is to take a different viewpoint of the way that we analyze markets. So what we're looking to do is rank service providers and software providers rather than actually having a grid that's cluttered with dots. But we also pull out what we call the voice of the customer. So that's comprised of a lot of different things. We have a Global 2000 survey that goes out every year where we're asking for enterprises for their feedback on service providers in various markets. We have reference calls, reference discussions from the service providers that have introduced us to them. We have a huge network of enterprise buyers that we tap into as well in order to create what we call the voice of the customer score, which is essentially how well do the service providers' customers rank them and what's the perception in the market. So we think that's a really big differentiator, and it's a really important piece of the Top 10. HGS ranked number 3 in voice of the customer. The things that we heard and saw from HGS's customers and their perception in the market is being a really flexible service provider and taking a real partnership attitude with their clients. One of the highlights that we pulled out from the Top 10 in HGS's performance is some of the thought leadership that HGS has been doing, in particular around developing the DigiCX capability and messaging, the blending of self-service, of automation, and traditional services and traditional interactions is really important in this market right now, as enterprises of all sizes are trying to figure out that right balance, that right match for their customers. HGS came out quite strong in terms of having that kind of thought leadership, having the capabilities to blend those types of interactions together, and really, more importantly, the vision to be able to help their clients execute, to help their clients be able to design and develop those capabilities. And as I said, just find that right balance. One of the other things that HGS is doing really well is making their customers aware of the capabilities, and there again being a flexible partner that they can grow and advance the solutions that they're working on with their clients and the services that they're providing. The services that companies are using today aren't necessarily the same things that they're going to be looking for tomorrow, so it's helpful to know that they have a partner that can grow with them and advance the services that they're working on together. Innovation and execution, of course, are super important elements for any service provider, operator, software company out there, all of the markets that we follow. But really pulling out that voice of the customer, I think, is such an important piece to this. And we, as I mentioned, we have a really big network of enterprise buyers, enterprise organizations that read our research, that look to us for advice on the service provider landscape, on the ecosystem, where the strengths are for each company, where the development opportunities are, what certain companies will excel at, who's a strong partner, things of that nature. And so they look to us as a thought leader in that regard.